the years, and you're just wanting to rip their garage down and build a multi-use facility, including a place where the rich and famous are going to have a condo near the football stadium. It's an outrage. It's an utter outrage. Okay, so whoa. So here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We've reached the point now. We are going to do a quick high noon overdrive overtime on my vacation on a Monday. It is absolutely next level. We're going to have us a grand old time. So far, some of the various things we want from the college football season include Texas Tech to crater and lose 3 or 4 games. Ohio State and/or Texas make the playoff, incentivizing others to play early regular season intersectional games such as those. Against international football games for BYU's success. Against an SEC championship game involving either Alabama or Georgia. And we want Alabama to lose 4 games. Plus, I want to see Florida's transfer quarterback have success because I know the father. In the meantime, and he went to Tennessee. So it's an interesting story. In the meantime, I love you. I thank you. I'm for you, not against you. I want to say, if you listen to the show today, check us out on team or TonyBasilio.com. However you get there, we continue to grow there. Like and subscribe over at YouTube or on Twitter X. And the playbook with the, well, man that brings to the table, the great William Pattison, is on the way next. Briney Boy on the way out. Hit that music.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Here we go. Live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios, it's the playbook on Fan Run Radio. With Brett Hollander and Connor Whitney joining you, I'm William Pattison. We appreciate you listening along with us on this fine Monday from Knoxville, Tennessee. And we've got plenty to cover over the next 2 hours, including ESPN tabbing Jim Knowles as Tennessee's X Factor for the 2026 season. A lot of newcomers, a lot of new faces for the Volunteers, but Jim Knowles could have the biggest impact for Tennessee if the defense is able to turn the tide compared to what it was last year. So we'll discuss that. Is Jim Knowles the X Factor, or is it a specific member of the defense? And then we'll talk Deshaun Bishop, the Knoxville native who enters into his redshirt junior season with a lot of expectations after an 1,000-yard performance last year. Could he become the first back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher Tennessee has had in a very long time? Can he get to that 1,000 mark is a question we'll ask later on in the show. And then in hour 2, we'll talk about the new injunction ruling in college sports. The 5x5 rule now has a little bit of gray area as members of the 2022 high school class can come back and play another season of any college sport. We'll talk about how that is going to impact this Tennessee roster and across the country with some new details that were provided on Sunday. And then we'll continue our college football conversation with some sponsorship patches. Notre Dame and Ohio State cashed in big time last week with their respective sponsors, but Tennessee, usually a trailblazer in the NIL force, has yet to make a decision, yet to add anything to the uniforms. We'll talk about that, and we'll wrap it up with our final thoughts. So plenty to cover on a Monday, so happy you're here. a full presentation today on Fan Run Radio as overtime is back from 6 to 8. So really excited to get that back launched here on the airwaves. And we still got plenty to cover over the next 2 hours. So we're happy you're sticking with us. But if you're on that YouTube live stream, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss any Fan Run content. And before we get into the rest of the show, let's welcome in the rest of the crew, beginning with Brett. Brett, how are you on this Monday?
I'm doing all right. We unfortunately had a passing in our family, so it's been a tough weekend. But we're making it. Happy to have this welcome distraction of talking. It's practice week, I guess, for fall, so it's exciting. And this 5 for 5 definitely has your attention and things like that. So excited to talk all things MLB trade deadline for those that partake in it. I know I follow what the Braves are doing, and it's been pretty disappointing. But other than that, happy to be here and looking forward to a start to a good week.
Yeah, well, sorry to hear about that, Brett.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Thanks for still making it in today.
Absolutely.
And all of that.
I need the distraction.
Yeah. Connor, to you, how are you?
I'm doing great. Brett mentioned that the trade deadline is today. Big fan of deadline day. It's always fun to kind of see what goes on. The Dodgers broke baseball on Saturday night when they traded for Tarek Skubal, as is their constitutional right. If you don't like it, get over it. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing, and that's all I have to say about that. But other than that, it was a good weekend. Went to a Train concert out in Nashville, which was fun.
Oh,
yeah.
What concert?
A train.
Train. Oh,
yeah,
train.
Yeah.
Train. Okay.
It was
Train.
Yeah, Max Nathanson and Bare Naked Ladies, the guys who did the opener for The Big Bang Theory.
Okay, cool.
They opened, but Train. No, it was great. It was fun. So it was a good time.
Well, good stuff. Where amphitheater? Where'd you see
it? Was the amphitheater. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good venue.
Yeah.
I do.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Just busy. Just working.
Saw you got to post your video from your experience up in
I did.
Northwestern. That looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was very cool. Very, very appreciative of that opportunity. But just another working weekend. We're in August now. That means college football's on the horizon.
Exciting. Yeah.
So even on the weekends, it's clocking in and getting stuff done. But we'll get right into it with our first things first topic today, and that is Tennessee's X Factor for the 2026 college football season. We are once again back in the swing of things. We're in August. Football will be played this week. We got the Hall of Fame game. Gardner Minshew, former Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, going to get some action for the Cardinals.
Colts legend Gardner Minshew.
Jags legend Gardner Minshew. And then we'll get some Carson Beck, some Kenny Pickett for the Panthers. Yeah, we're in full swing, folks. And
that's exciting.
In the spirit of that, ESPN released their top 25 teams in addition to the actors for each team. That for Tennessee, who was placed at 25, it was Jim Knowles tabbed as the X Factor. Not a guy that's going to be playing a snap this season. Very interesting. But when you take a look at Tennessee's defense last year, well, it does add up. This is a group that's coming off a season in which they allowed 2.7 points per drive in SEC play last year. Obviously, those numbers need to change. And we've talked a lot over the last couple of months about these new additions for Tennessee football. Coordinator that comes in with over 8 years of football experience, 18 specifically, a defensive coordinator. And then you got the strength and conditioning coach, Derek Owings, who's doing an incredible job. You're seeing the results immediately in the weight room and also in the cafeteria with the selections and choices for the players. Championship hires, very important for Josh Heupel heading into year 6 this upcoming season. And while I think while I think Derek Owings was the biggest hire that Josh Heupel made, Jim Knowles is right there and could be the X factor for this team. And I think the main question for him and his group is how quick do they adapt to his scheme and how quickly can some of these newcomers get acclimated to those setups. Now, keep in mind, there are a bunch of Penn State guys that are on this. Rowan Lane, Amar Campbell, Xavier Gilliam, all 3 levels. Chaz Holman would have been a part of that group as well, but obviously things went a different route. So I think it's important that you have a Penn State guy at every level. Defensive line with Gilliam, Campbell on the linebacking core, and then DeJuan Lane in the secondary. I think it's important to have all those guys. But for some of these Tennessee players that are returning, like an Edwin Spillman, a Jane Perlotti, you can go up and down. Even some of those younger guys on the defensive line that you expect to take jumps. How quickly do they adjust to this new format? And then in the secondary, some new faces. Kyan Lee, Quay Moss, TJ Metcalf, DJ Burks, a lot of guys. How quickly do they mesh? How quickly do they adapt to Jim Knowles' new system? I think that's the biggest question, and that is why he's the X factor. Because if everything goes well, you anticipate this Tennessee defense is going to be pretty good. And with a young quarterback, it's got to be that. Because this is a grueling 9-game SEC schedule. You've got multiple top 25 preseason teams on your list. You're going to have to rely on that defense, especially early on in the season, as your young quarterback's figuring things out. So I think for Tennessee's trajectory and how they start the season is going to be very important, and Jim Knowles is going to have a direct impact on that, and we'll see a lot of it in week 2 when Tennessee travels to Georgia Tech to take on the Yellow Jackets inside Bobby Dodd Stadium. Brett, to you, is Jim Knowles the X factor for this team, or do you kind of look at another guy?
I mean, you can look at probably a number of guys, especially on the defense, as we mentioned. I mean, it's almost you can go through an alphabet, not just an X factor. But, yeah, I mean, I think you have to point to Jim Knowles. I think, we went out and made the change with Tim Banks, and we brought in one of the best to do it. I think there are, maybe a little bit of questions coming in. I mean, it's a brutal schedule Tennessee faces. They've got some of the top offenses in the conference. And some people – especially the last few years, maybe not give Knowles the benefit of the doubt because he was at an Ohio State with a loaded, talented team and a weaker schedule and things like that. So, you're paying him a lot of money coming here to improve this defense. And while it doesn't take much to improve this defense off last year's, I think, can he get these guys, like you said, to gel quickly? I am worried about the guys up front. Is there enough depth there for him to really do what he likes to do? Is he going to have to add a few more wrinkles into that, more blitzes and things like that? So it's probably going to be a week-to-week type thing. And the scary thing with it, you hear that it takes sometimes at least a year for him to implement his system. But then when you implement your system, you have a lot of older guys in here, so you're just going to have to almost back to square one next year. But for this year, I think he's 100% the X factor. And like you said, the pressure that I think the offense is going to not be scoring a bunch. So can he force turnovers and change the possessions and things like that to make our life a little bit easier offensively and things like that. So, but I got to agree with ESPN on this one. I think the pressure is on not just Knowles, but this whole Tennessee team. So, I'm looking at Knowles right away.
Connor, what about you? X factor, Jim Knowles?
I mean, if we're talking about X factor as in, what the season hinges on and the determining factor of how the season's going to go, I really don't think I think we have a pretty good idea that Jim Knowles and the defense is going to be better, right? But when I look at the season, I mean, I just can't help but keep looking at the quarterback situation, what the quarterback's play is going to look like, whether it's George or whether it's Faison. One of those guys, the quarterback, whoever starts is going to be the X factor because that's going to dictate how the season goes. And if you get adequate quarterback play, you're probably going to looking at 7, 8 wins. If you get good quarterback play, you're looking at 9. If you get bad quarterback play, you're looking at 5 wins and you're under 500. I think it's always going to come down to quarterback play. There's so much uncertainty there. And with how successful, Josh Heupel is at turning out quarterbacks, you still want to go out and see these guys. And there's a little bit of hope with Heupel's track record and, what Faison Brandon and, GMAC, these guys have potential, but now it's on Heupel to actually churn them out. So, we can talk about the defense all we want. And look, I think this defense is going to take a step forward this year just purely because of the coaching. But to me, I mean, it all just hinges on quarterback play.
Yeah, well, I think any sport, you need your most important position to be good if you're going to have a good team. And football, that's quarterback, whether you look at the NFL or in college. If you have bad quarterback play, your ceiling is going to be limited. For Tennessee, there's a lot of unknown at that position. Faison Brandon, George McIntyre. Right now, Faison Brandon seems to be pretty firm in the lead, but regardless, he's never played college football before. He's going to be a true freshman. Josh Heupel has never started a true freshman at Tennessee. The last time he started a true freshman technically at the beginning of the season was Dylan Gabriel back in 2018 at Central Florida. And Gabriel didn't even start the season against Florida A&M. He started that next outing. But again, it's unprecedented for Josh Heupel to be in this spot. So you have to keep that in mind. And that's why I think early in the season, you have to kind of vary your expectations at that spot, because he's going to be learning. He's going to make a couple of mistakes, and you're going to have to rely on the stronger assets around your roster to make up for what you might have in terms of inconsistencies at quarterback. And that then goes into defense. You know, if you want to limit the amount of points the other team scores, your defense is going to have to get stops and get off the field. If you want to have your young quarterback in a good spot, you get an early lead from a great scripted drive, and your defense settles in and gets a stop, and then you've got the opportunity to double up. So situational football last year for Tennessee was a big problem. Offense would do their thing. Defense would allow anyone to get into the end zone. Defense would make a couple of big plays, a couple of turnovers. The offense would stall out. Special teams became an issue throughout the season as well. You've got to play complementary football. And I think if there's an X factor overall for this team, outside of just trying to pinpoint one guy or one thing, it's playing complementary football. Because if you've got a young quarterback, that's something you have to have. Your defense has to make stops, has to get off the field, especially knowing how Josh Heupel runs his tempo offense. There could be a 60-second possession, so you've got to take into account those type of deals. So I think Jim Knowles' group is the X factor. I think that is the unit that will keep Tennessee in a lot of games, and also give Faison Brandon the opportunity to slowly develop and learn his way. And maybe by the end of the season, he's a clean product. He's polished. He's ready to go. And then you can really play some complementary football. Or at least on the early part of the season, that defense is going to have to be very important. When we look at the cast of these guys, too, outside of just Knowles specifically, obviously Arian Carter suspended for the first 2 games of the season. That news broke last week, dominated college headlines across the country. But at this point in time, seems Tennessee's going to roll with it. 2-game suspension, got to figure it out. The linebacker position, though, out of all the spots on that defense, probably the deepest. Jaden Perlotti had a really strong freshman campaign. Edwin Spillman came into his own. Jeremiah Thielander returns, and you have Amari Campbell from Penn State. So not a huge loss, but you do know that Arian Carter was going to play a little bit of edge and kind of move around, and he's also a leader on the team. So you would love to have him, or love to have had him, but now you're going to have to pivot. And I think the most important spot on this team, though, is going to be on the defensive line. You lose Chaz Coleman. That was a guy that you paid a lot of money towards, hoping that he could be that immediate impact defensive end. He's out of the picture now. Jordan Norman is going to have a lot of responsibility. And I even look at a couple of these other guys that we haven't really talked about, like a Mike Bethia or a guy like that. Players that have kind of been deep into the roster over the years that are going to have an opportunity to shine this year because of the opportunities in front of them. That defensive line is young and inexperienced, but you have recruited well at that spot. Isaiah Campbell, Ethan Utley, those guys, Amari and Dye, those guys are going to have to step up, because if you can't get a push in the SEC, that's going to allow Sam Levitt and Arch Manning, and you go up and down the list. Marcel Reed, Lenora Sellers, you're going to have all day if you can't get any pressure, and that's going to be a really big problem in terms of getting off the field. So I think the defensive line is the most important aspect of that Jim Knowles defense this season. Brett, where would you pinpoint the most responsibility in terms of getting off the field and being a big impact?
We've kind of been saying it all along. This defensive line's really depleted this year, and your secondary and your linebackers can be good as they want. You can have a bunch of players back there you think can make plays, but again, if you're giving quarterbacks time to run around back there and make plays, I don't care who you have covering. You have Dion out there, and some of the best all time. You can only cover for so long. Once you guys aren't getting pressure, your corners and your safeties might start grabbing a little bit more, and it just wears you out mentally and physically. So it's 100% on the defensive line. If we're not getting pressure on the quarterback, it can really affect. And then your defensive line gets worn down. Then the run game becomes a problem. We're going to face really good offensive lines this year, and through most teams. And so this is 100% on the whole team. I think this is the main position and the one I'm most worried about coming into the season, almost more so than even the quarterback, if I'm being honest. Because if you can't get off the field on third downs and just make negative plays and different things like that, maybe force the turnovers. We were saved last year by our turnovers and things like that. So it's 100%. This is the main factor I have for the whole team, even more so than the quarterback, because I think the quarterbacks are going to be decent enough to make a few plays. I just wonder if we have those playmakers on the defensive line to really make a difference and help all aspects of the team and the defense itself.
What about you, Connor?
No, he's right. I mean, you got to be able to control the line of scrimmage, and that starts with the defense or the defensive line. And if the defensive line is getting into the backfield and putting the quarterback on the ground, you feel good. Then you get that push. But if they can't get that, then quarterback basically shorts and beach sandals.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna cut it. And then when you get to the part of the game where they're trying to run 4-minute offense, and then suddenly they're basically sucking air, I mean, you're in trouble. So they got to be able to find a way to get these stops. I mean, look, if they have to be creative with blitzing and bring an extra guy in order just to get pressure, then that leaves your back end a little bit more vulnerable. And look, you got talent on the back end, certainly, but that's still never a good thing. You always rather have that extra guy in the back. That way, you can have just 4, drop 7, and then the 4 is going to get home, and I feel good. But if you don't have that 4-man pass rush that's consistent, if you don't have that 4-man front that can, get those stops and turn those run plays into 1-2 yard gains and hold them back, I mean, it's going to be a long day for you defensively. Defensive line has got to be good, and they're going to find a diamond in the rough. I think one of these or these young guys or these redshirt freshmen, one of these guys is going to have to step up.
Who would be the one player? Because I know we kind of look at a couple of different spots there. I mean, I think Jordan Norman has arguably the most responsibility out of anyone. But I also look at the secondary, Kyan Lee and Ty Redmond. Ty Redmond, but I think he's got a room to improve. And he has gotten off-season, but type of production you got in game out at times. Needs to be better. Derek Owings can surely have impact on that. But they're also and lost those matchups. And again, the SEC against some really good players. I'd like into fruition this year, player that returns on an SEC roster after starting as a freshman. Kyan Lee going to be a very similar, but under me, I think he's getting some praise. But Colton Hood really came out of nowhere because he was a late addition out of Colorado and it kind of played sparingly with the Buffs. He ended up being an immediate impact. I think Kyan Lee can be that as well. He does a really good job tracking the football and can get up in the air, and he demonstrated that at Auburn and had a couple of really nice tackle performances as well. The Iron Bowl was one of his better games, and I like when guys step up on big stages. So I look at Kyan Lee as a really important product of this group because he's got to win those one-on-one matchups against a Cam Coleman and LSU's got 7 guys that could start anywhere. A Winston Watkins, a Jace Brown, whoever it may be. You've got to win those matchups. So I look at a Kyan Lee, even though Jordan Norman's probably the most important guy, I look at Kyan Lee and Ty Redmond as 2 players that have to be really impactful in the secondary up against the type of receivers they're going to face week in and week out in the SEC. What about you, Brett?
yeah, I mean, these guys become even more important if our X factor needs to be our D line and they're struggling. They're gonna have to cover. I don't know what Knowles likes to do, if he's more zone, more man to man. It's probably a combination of things, but yeah, I mean, those guys are obviously ultra important, and things like that. He's probably, and I've spoken on Jordan Norman. He's obviously important, but I'm just going to go to who I think is our best player on defense, and that's Amari Campbell. I think he's got more responsibility coming into an offseason than he ever has. He's got a whole new group of characters, and he's responsible for being the eyes, the ears, everything of a Jim Knowles defense. And he's got to teach some of these young guys how to play. He's having to learn multiple guys playing next to him. Now that Aaron Carter's out, he's probably going to be running reps with Perlotti, Spillman, whoever it might be, and just trying to get everybody organized and things like that. And a lot of these guys, we have the privilege or the honor of facing really good guys on the other side of the ball. Like Jordan Norman's going against David Sanders every day in practice, and Kyan Lee and Quay Moss are going to be going against Staley and Matthews. So they're going to get the best of the best that you're going to see in the conference. So I can only imagine that helps everybody. But I got to go to Amari Campbell, just being that X factor in the eyes and ears, and just somebody that's got to be. And I'm expecting him to make plays all over the field. I mean, he had over 100 plus tackles for Ohio State or Penn State, sorry. And so I'm expecting him to do similar things for us. And I think he's the key piece to what Knowles envisions this team being for years to come.
Connor, what about you?
I mean, it's hard to disagree with Mark Campbell just because he has that experience in the Jim Knowles system. He's been there, done that. He's the guy kidding, and maybe he's the guy who ends up running defense. So I think there's a lot of continuity there with him in the system. So I think he can more effectively communicate to guys. And again, that's one of the big things about bringing in these guys like Mark Campbell, David Gilliam, because they've been there, done that in the Knowles system. And if it's that complex, it's going to be a lot easier for these guys to be communicating to everybody, making sure that the freshmen or and the sophomores and the underclassmen are up to date on what's going on. Being honest with them. So it's hard to disagree that Campbell could be a huge piece and probably the heartbeat to the defense this year.
Yeah, a lot of key contributors, a lot of guys to be excited about for this group. But we're going to learn more starting on Wednesday when these guys get in full pads and start fall camp. We're going to quickly learn kind of who's holding their own, who's going to be a likely starter. We know a lot of these guys, but there are a couple of position battles to keep an eye out for. And I look along the defensive line, which underclassmen have taken that jump under Rodney Garner, under Jim Knowles. How do you use a Jaden Perlotti and Edwin Spill? How do you utilize all those linebackers? A lot of questions with this group, but overall, your offense is probably going to be a little bit of a one-trick pony early in the season. Going to have to rely on your defense to get stops and get you off the field, especially in a grueling 9-game schedule, SEC 9-game schedule, that also features a road trip to Georgia Tech. When we come back on the other side, though, we're going to talk about a guy on the offense that could possibly make life pretty easy for Faison Brandon. That's Deshaun Bishop, the Carnes High School product, who was incredible throughout his career here in Knoxville, and he's continued it inside Neyland Stadium. Could go for 1,000 yards once again next year. We'll break it down when we return right here on the Playbook.
By the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
What kind of day is it? It's a White Claw day. Grab a pack, grab your friends. Everything else in life can wait. Your friends shouldn't. Let's go. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Ball fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Join us for the third annual Fan Run Night at the Smokies, Thursday, August 13th at Covenant Health Park. Come hang out with the Fan Run crew and arrive early to pick up some swag as we watch the Smokies take on the Rocket City Trash Pandas on a Thirsty Thursday, featuring half-price draft beers all night long. It's the third annual Fan Run Night with the Smokies, Thursday, August 13th. Listen to Fan Run Radio for details on how to score free tickets. All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Monday from Knoxville, Tennessee. We appreciate however you may be listening on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM here in K-Town on the local dial or on the X/YouTube live stream, how you're listening or watching. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Matt in chat on the YouTube chat says the Dodgers are the reason there's going to be a lockout next season. I don't know baseball very well at all, but I do remember from a show we had last year called The Slate, we would do some wagering advice, and Tyler Barbaras was a big MLB guy. So he was always talking MLB, and he's an Oilers fan. So he was always talking, Orioles fan. He was an Orioles fan, and he was always talking about Scooble. Is that where Scooble came from?
No, so he came over from the Tigers. So he came up with the Tigers, and he got traded to the Dodgers. Then Dodgers have this super team with all these all-stars and future Hall of Famers, and everybody's mad that the Dodgers traded for him because they think it should be illegal for the Dodgers to actually go out and try and win a championship. When it's a free country, and all the other 29 teams.
I'll take it you're a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other team could. Well, I won't say any other team, but most of the teams could trade for him. Milwaukee has as good a record as the Dodgers, or like a couple games back, but like they had all the players in their farm talent in their farm system.
But all those teams, they would be renting him because he's just going to go to the Dodgers in the offseason. So are you going to give up
we don't know.
Your top prospects and your we know that. Stop it.
It's about winning, though. It's about winning, though.
I agree.
Why
would
you
on the
not?
Dodgers? This is on the other teams that didn't
Thank
do
you.
it, like you said.
But again, even if you know he's a rental, but if you're trying to go out and win a championship, and you're trying to go out and win, why would you not at least take a shot? Like with the Brewers, they have an ace, and now if you had Scooble, you'd be adding a second ace. That's 4 games that you have to face out of 7, which you're facing an ace. I mean, it's ridiculous that they wouldn't even think about parting ways with the prospects necessary, but they didn't. So the Dodgers wanted him. The Dodgers got him. It's too bad. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Not ruining baseball for trying. They're not.
People are more mad at the money side of things, like the whole Shohei thing, like
he didn't gamble. He didn't gamble in the deferred money.
This deferred money stuff is just out of control.
That's why I don't give a damn about the MLB.
Yeah, it's horrible.
That's the only thing
horribly ran.
That's the only thing they can fix is the deferred money, and that's it. That's it. Like how much you can defer. The Dodgers have like 7 or 8 players.
If this continues, they have Skeens in there a couple seasons.
Skeens to go to the Dodgers almost a lock, right?
No,
100%.
I don't know. We'll see.
Nobody has the money anymore.
There's like 8 or 9. They have like 8 or 9 guys on their team with like some sort of deferred salary, which is that's the fundamental issue. But like you're gonna fix that, but you're not gonna get it. The players are never gonna give you give the owners a salary cap. It's just not gonna happen. So
yeah, we'll see.
And a salary cap is not going to lead to more. And a salary cap is also not going to lead to more. It's not going to diversify the outcomes and add parity to the league. It's just not.
Well,
yes, salary floor and cap salary floor. If you do cap, then yes. So, anyways, sorry.
Well, I've never understood why the MLB doesn't have a salary cap in place.
They've always hated it. Always been against it.
Every other league has one. I think it's kind of silly, but again, who watches the MLB?
Not many.
All right, let's get into our next topic, and that is Deshaun Bishop, the Carnes High School native, or I guess not Carnes High School native, but the former Carnes High School star, Knoxville, Tennessee native. Has a lot of expectations heading into 2026 for good reason. He was a 1,000-yard rusher in 2025. the third straight Tennessee running back to do so, joining Jalen Wright and Dylan Sampson, who came before him. And this upcoming year, he's going to have a big responsibility because he is RB1 in that room. And in years past, he's been having to kind of work his way up. 2023, he was a walk-on. 2024, predominantly played special teams and then slowly crept his way onto the field, got a couple of touches. Last year really boomed alongside Peyton Lewis and Star Thomas. Now he is the guy heading into 2026. Now he's going to be joined by Javen Gordon, a transfer from Tulane, and you've got Justin Baker and DeJuan Morris in the backfield as well, two underclassmen. One of them could come into their own and be RB3. But when you've got a young quarterback, as we've discussed, it's very important to have a solid run game. It's very important to have someone established in the backfield behind an experienced offensive line. You like the weapons on the perimeter in Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews and TK Keys, Radar Jackson. You like those players for sure. But is Faison Brandon able to deliver the football to those guys early on in the year? How many opportunities does he get? Josh Heupel always kind of been a little bit of a training wheels coach early on to get the guy acclimated. So I think Deshaun Bishop is the most important player on the offensive side of the football, at least early on in the year. Because against Georgia Tech, as we discussed at the end of last week, I think it's going to be a run-oriented game. Justice Haynes comes over from Michigan for the Yellow Jackets. Deshaun Bishop on the other side for Tennessee. I think you're going to get a lot of run game in that matchup because they're also trotting out, are the Yellow Jackets, a new quarterback in Alberto Mendoza. So for Bishop, I think it's important to tread lightly against Furman and be ready to go against Georgia Tech. And as you march into the rest of the season against Texas, they've got a really good defense, loaded at all three levels. A Colin Simmons, a Rasheem Biles, Tamari McDonald. They've got a lot of guys up and down that group at all three levels that are really good. But Deshaun Bishop's going to have to beat him to the hole. And for a guy that ran 5.9 yards a carry last season, he's clearly capable of it. But outside of that Texas game against Auburn, that's a really good defense under DJ Durkin. You're going to have that run game be established because, as you know, Alex Golesh kind of takes after Josh Heupel, going to go quick. I think for Tennessee in that case, you got to put points up on the board because if they have those quick 3-and-outs on the road, then that's how you double up on possessions. So all of this to say, early in the season, Deshaun Bishop going to be very valuable for this Tennessee team. And I think it's going to be pretty easy for him to get to 1,000 yards, especially if you let him run wild against GT and he has a big game against a Texas or an Auburn. And you might be saying, well, William, those are some pretty good defenses going up against. I don't know if he's capable of it. Well, keep in mind, folks, last year, Deshaun Bishop rose on the big stage against Alabama, had a career outing, and that was a good Alabama defense. And then their offense was, as their offense continued to trend in the wrong direction. One of his best games of the season came on the road against Alabama. And the cool thing about it was, and he had never said anything publicly, but when I talked to him about a month ago, he said that week he was not able to walk. He wasn't able to walk in practice because he was so banged up from that Arkansas game. Wasn't able to walk. His aunt texted him a Bible verse, and she said to just repeat it over the next 2 days, and he went from not being able to walk to having a career outing against Alabama. He's tough as nails, and he's shown up on the big stage already. So I think early in the season, you really got to rely on Deshaun Bishop, and I think an 1,000-yard year is most certainly in the cards. And he's not too far away either, Brett, from the all-time rushing leader if he really wanted it. I think it's 1,597 still to go. I don't know if we'll get that this year. I don't know if we'll get that this year, but if he does decide to return for another season, possibly in 2027, I think he can get it. Do you think Deshaun Bishop will get to 1,000, though, this season, Brett?
He had 1,076, I think, last year I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's on 182 carries. I think he definitely gets to 1,000. He's going to have to, or we've had a really bad season, or knock on wood, something has happened and he's missed a game or something like that. But he could have also had a lot more. I mean, you think of ETSU, he only had like 3 carries, like you said, and I think UAB, he had like, I think it says 9. So against the smaller teams, if maybe he gets a few more touches, the yards will obviously accumulate. It's just going to be really tough sledding. We've talked so much about these offenses we're seeing, but these defenses are elite. All these teams know we have a young quarterback back there, and they know Deshaun Bishop's arguably one of the best players in the conference and one of the best running backs. And, they're going to pack the box. They're going to make it life miserable for us to really establish what we really want to do. So our O-line's going to be really good. I mean, Deshaun's going to be only as good as those 5 guys in front of him. So I do think he gets 1,000. I don't have an exact number what I think he gets to. I mean, maybe 1,200 or something like that. But yeah, just imagine, it just depends on the touches. Are we in close enough ball games where we can utilize them for 4 quarters and different things like that? Are we, and things like that? Because if we're a couple scores down and we're getting away from them, then it makes for a long day as well on our offense. So, but I do think he gets to 1,000 to answer your question. Maybe 1,200, something like that. Because I'm expecting more touches than the 182 he got last year. So, but maybe if Faison's the guy, you can do a little more, RPOs. Where it opens up some run lanes too. So, with the Faison factor of running the ball. So, a lot goes into how Faison does, but we're going to give him the ball, and he's going to have every opportunity to get 1,000+ yards, and I fully expect him to do that.
5'10", 215, 1,076 yards, 16 scores on the ground, 5.9 yards a carry. That was 34th overall in college football last season. Ton of confidence heading into 2026. Connor, do you believe that he will get over that 1,000 mark, and how comfortably?
I'd be surprised if he doesn't get over the 1,000-yard mark. He's entering this year, obviously, he's clear RB1, but there's not going to be as much. It's going to be him and Gordon, and then there's not. I don't really see there being a third back. I think it's going to be more of a 2-back set. But I think I'd be surprised if he's not getting 20 touches a game. I really wanted to see. I want to see him. He needs to be carrying the ball, getting the rock. I want to see him kind of, take control, and I want to see Josh Heupel put a lot of confidence in him and just give him the rock over and over and over again. Just beat down these teams. I keep saying, I want to see hurry up and wait, where you kind of trap the defense and kind of the personnel that is advantageous to what Josh wants to run and what the advantages that he sees. But, to me, the offense has to run through Deshaun Bishop this year just because of the uncertainty. It's going to make life a lot easier on your quarterback, whoever it's going to be. We keep talking about the uncertainty at quarterback, and, you want to give him not only as many weapons as you can, but you also want to make his life easy so that he has a lot less weight on his shoulders, right? And the easiest way to do that is to take advantage of a very quality run game, and you have a dynamite back in Deshaun Bishop that can very easily get over 1,200 yards if you kind of roll with him and just let him go out and do his thing. Is he going to be, number 1 at the end of the year? I don't know about that. I think it's a lot to ask for. But to me, I think if Deshaun Bishop has a sort of year that I think he can have, I don't think there's any reason why he can't break into top 5 all-time rushing leaders for school history.
Yeah, I mean, he's knocking on the door right now. Yeah. If he were to get to 1,000, he would encroach on that top 5 number.
Yeah.
But, for a Knoxville kid, I think it'd be pretty cool to have the record now.
So I will say this. If I'm looking at this exactly, if he got exactly 1,000, he would be 9th all time. He pass Hardesty, who's at 10, and then Dylan Sampson, who's at 9 right now.
I think a realistic number is 1,200.
Yeah.
And 1,200 would place him.
It would put him past Jamal Lewis. He'd be behind Johnny Jones from the 80s.
Yeah. I think that'd be a really cool story. Yeah. A walk-on that didn't even realize he was a walk-on when he first got on campus and ends up leaving as the all-time rushing leader. Now, I think he would have to return next season for that to be a possibility. Yeah. But I think 1,100 to 1,200 yards is very doable this year. Now, health is a big thing, and he battled through that last year. But, right now he's fully healthy. He's energized, and he's got big expectations. He's got big goals for Tennessee and as well as himself. He told me he wants to be the best running back in college football, wants to be the best in the SEC. And there are a couple of good ones in the SEC too. Ahmad Hardy, Keywan Lacey, Jaden Ball, the Texas duo of Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers. A lot of good backs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of confidence to come out and say, I'm going to be the best in the SEC, if not the country. And I haven't even dove into the names across the country that are really good too. So I think he's a really good guy. He's the type of leader in a locker room that you need, because I think when he first got to Tennessee, he was a little bit quiet and has really kind of come into his own over the last year where guys look up to him. The announcement or social media post he came out with on Thursday of last week about Arian Carter, I thought was great. Standing up for your teammate. Just putting out a statement saying, hey, we're thinking about you, we're praying for you, and encouraging Vol Nation to do the same. We talked last week about changing the culture because what was going down in the weight room under the previous regime wasn't exactly up to par. Derek Owings comes in, and the guys are eating healthier and looking the part. You bring in Jim Knowles because Tim Banks' defense had a lot of holes in it last year. You're looking to see results. Out of all of the controversy that Tennessee has had between Nico Iamaleava and Boo Carter and Chaz Coleman, you need more Deshaun Bishops. You need more guys that are selfless, about the team, and are driven. And that's why I will always support Deshaun Bishop. That's why I think Vol Nation should always support him, because he's a Knoxville kid that worked his tail off to get to this point, and it's not about me. But he does have some high expectations and some goals that he wants to hit this upcoming season. So, but Heupel's always used 3 running backs.
Yeah.
Javen Gordon is most likely going to be that RB2. I'm interested to see who establishes themselves as RB3. You did not get anyone in terms of a running back. You did not get any running backs in the 2025 class, or 2026 class, I should say. So it's not like you're waiting on another freshman. You've got 2 guys, Justin Baker, Dwayne Morris, who have been around this team for a minute, but have yet to have their opportunity. I know there's not a whole lot of intel who's going to take that spot, but ideally, you'd like one of those guys to shine this year and establish themselves, because obviously the guy you've got coming in the 2027 class is up to par, David Gabriel George. But even if Bishop came back, Bishop's established. Javen Gordon, you most likely think is going to stick around, and you can have DGG as well. That's a really good backfield. That's not even taking into account the 3rd guy this year that could come into the fold. Any predictions on it will be like a Dwayne Morris or Justin Baker, Connor?
Maybe Morris. He got some runway there towards the end of the season, I believe. So I would just my default would just be Dwayne Morris. I still think with between Gordon and Bishop though, I think last year it was like a relatively, I don't know what 40-40-20 or something like that kind of snap share. I could easily see a deal where it's a little bit different, and it's a little more. There won't be as much of a 3rd back this year. I really think it's going to be more of like a two back. I know Heupel does like the 3 backs, but I just don't think we're going to see that 3rd back as often, is my point. But I think it's a deal where if you give Morris some runway, and then he proves himself, and he starts to flash a little bit, and then he starts to step up in responsibilities, and he keeps earning more and more, then that's what I could see him earning more. That's fine on the season. Probably the first few games of the year, it's for Bishop, sprinkled in Gordon, and then let's see how Morris does, and then how that goes along. I just have a hard time seeing 3 right now, just consistently as we did last year.
your second leading rusher, Faison. I mean, like, you got to think of what Nico did. And I mean, even looking here, Aguilar carried the ball 71 times, which would have been third most on the team. So he was even ahead of Peyton Lewis. Star Thomas got 100 touches, so it could be a similar thing. How much you want to, if Faison's the guy, how much you running him? Nico ran 109 times for like 400 yards. So that's going to be part of the offense as well. And so that's touches in the run game that you're going to see as well. So, but I think the third guy, if we were looking for this, it's going to be Dwayne Morris. I think he had 35 last year. So I think he'd be the third guy up if you do go a third option or need some minutes for another guy.
So real quick, here was the carry count from last season. Bishop, 182 carries. Star Thomas, 104 carries. Joey Aguilar, 71 carries. Peyton Lewis, 70 carries. And then Morris had 35.
Yeah, what's the number for Deshaun for you guys? I mean, how
many yards?
No, like touches, carries.
Oh, 200.
I'm thinking like 250, 240.
At least 200.
I mean, I think the weight that he's going to have to carry this year I don't think he's going to be used enough. I mean, he's going to have to. I mean, he's arguably your best overall player on the football team.
Only the dynamics I think about are first injuries. You don't want to overuse them, especially early in the season. Yeah. Like you'd love to have him rack up a big game against Furman, maybe give him 100 yards, get off on the right foot. But I also don't want to run him a ton early in the year. I want to save him for Georgia Tech. Like when I look at Furman and Kennesaw State, let's work on Justin Baker, Dwayne Morris against a Georgia Tech, a Texas, and Auburn. 25 carries in each of those games, I think would be a good number.
Yeah.
Any 20 to 25, get the most of your run in those outings.
It just depends on how long a drive goes, right?
Yeah.
Like you could hit a big play and it's 1 or 2 carries a drive. Like, I don't know what it was last year for him, but our big plays, I don't going to be as large as they were season or last year compared to what, I don't see that happening as much.
I would say the Vols would have a winning record in every game that that Deshaun Bishop carries the ball at least 20, 22 times.
And our game's close enough to where he's going to be utilized.
Correct.
Because he's not a pass-catching guy.
If he carries the ball less than 20 times a game, let me specify this. I'm going to say against like the Power 5 teams, right, or the Power 4 teams, right. So we'll take out the Furmans and the Kennesaw States, right. If they played 10 Power 5 teams or Power 4 teams, right, and if he carries 20, 22 times, I say they have a winning record. If he carries less than 20 times, I think they're going to have a losing record. I think they're going to have a hard time winning even 2 games.
Yeah, we'll continue the conversation when we come back on the other side up against a break real quick. Stay right here. It's the Playbook on Fan Run Radio.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors can provide you with an array of options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Welcome to Axle Logistics, where excellence isn't just a goal, it's an energy. As a leading third-party logistics company, Axel is powered by an award-winning culture built on a work hard, play hard mentality. Here, the drive for success is contagious and hard work never goes unnoticed. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, Axel Logistics is the place to launch your career. Join us and take your ambition to the stars. To learn more, visit axellogistics.com.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Monday from K-Town. Once again, a reminder, folks, back on the Fan Run Radio airwaves tonight. It's overtime from 6 to 8, and they'll be rolling Monday through Thursday through the entirety of the college football season. Excited for Garrett Armbrust and Caleb DeBusk, who will be headlining that show, adding it back to our daily rotation. Time to
exciting.
About a year hiatus for OT. Last run by now back and back up and running. So excited for that. Continuing our Deshaun Bishop conversation, taking a look at the YouTube chat real quick. JW Vols says, you mean Deshaun Adonis Bishop, talking about his strength. Music City Sam says he's going for 1,500 this year, barring injury. And JW Vols says he agrees. But then Music City Sam says, I was ambitious. I say 1,200 too. They won't run him as much as they did D Sam.
1,500 is a lot.
And JW Vols, just to up him up one, he said he's going to go for 1,201 yards this year.
I say 1,202.
Yeah.
$1.
Yeah, there we go.
Price is right.
Make it like an auction.
Yeah.
But I do think 1,100 to 1,200 is most certainly achievable, and I think that would be good for one of the top backs in the SEC, if not the country. I think volume's the big thing here, and you speak of how many carries he might get. 200 to 250, when you say it out loud, is a little daunting.
I mean, but he's bigger than Dylan Sampson, right?
He is. No, he is.
Dylan in 2024 got 258 touches.
Yeah.
For the 1,400 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so you don't foresee it? Is that just way too much in your mind? Or
well, I think.
I mean, as a team, we ran it 584 times.
I think
and that was a successful year, obviously.
Yeah.
And what we did.
Well, I think you have to keep into account that you're playing one less cupcake game.
True.
And, that was probably another 120 yards tacked on to that, whether it be a UT Chat or a New Mexico, UTEP, whatever it may be. Now this year, instead of that, you're playing Arkansas or Texas, or whoever you want to pick.
Yeah.
So a little bit different, but I do think it's achievable. I don't think 1,400 is a number I'd go to, but I think 1,200 is a really good year. I mean, a lot of backs across the country would love a 1,200, 1,000-yard season. I think the amount of attempts is what you have to watch for. If I'm strategically planning it out, I circle Georgia Tech, Texas, Auburn early in the season as let's get this guy the ball and let's see what we can do early in this game. Because I think over the course of the year, Faison Brandon will be better and you'll have a little bit more trust in him. But in those early spots, especially Georgia Tech, I mean, Bishop might go for 175 yards just with the amount of touches I believe he's going to get in that one. So we'll see. And Heupel might surprise us. He might take off the training wheels early with Faison and say, let's go, man. Let's do it. We've got good receivers. Let's get it to him. But I would predominantly think Bishop gets a lot of touches in that matchup.
Yeah.
So I did the math. If Deshaun Bishop over 12 games averages about 19 touches a game and averages about 5.5 yards per carry, you're looking at 1,254 yards. So that would be. I mean, look, it's hard. It would be hard to disagree with that production. I mean, if you take that right now, you'd be happy. I'd be happy with that. I think he'd be happy with that. I mean, maybe he might say, "Well, I could give a little bit more," but again, to the point, 19 carries, 5.5 yards, and then 1,200 yards. That's
the
good.
Key question is what is he going to do against the good teams?
Yeah.
Like, what is he going to do against an LSU defense, Texas A&M defense?
It's up to the offensive line.
Well, yeah, but like it just seems those teams on paper are just. I mean, against the really good defenses last year, he struggled. I mean, our offensive line's supposed to be better, but like Oklahoma, I don't remember doing anything. Like who else? I mean, Georgia was all in the air.
Oklahoma also had like a ridiculously good defensive front.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. We're going to see
teams,
ridiculously good fronts this year. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right, when we come back on the other side, we'll continue the topic of college football, talk Jersey patch sponsorships. Will Tennessee get in the mix for that, as a number of teams have been unveiling their new partnerships over the last week? And then also trying to break down this 5x5 injunction, what that means for Tennessee hoops and could mean for Tennessee football. All of that and more on the other side. Stay right here. It's Playbook on Fan Run Radio.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox, Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products done rest and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Here we go. Hour number 2 on a Monday, live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's the Playbook on Fan Run Radio. Brett Hollander and Connor Whitney joining you. I'm William Pattison. Great stuff in hour number 1. We'll continue it here in hour number 2 as we move over to the 5x5 injunction ruling that was given on Friday. It was like a 24-hour period of mass chaos, but now we've got a little bit more of a clear focus on that. We'll give you that detail here in a moment. And then also talk about those jersey patches in college football. 24 teams set to don a NIL patch in college football this year. That's among the power conference teams, that is. But Tennessee not included on that list. Will Tennessee and Danny White decide to put a new sponsorship patch on those Adidas threads that were unveiled earlier in July? That'll be a question we discuss. Danny White's always been a trailblazer. I'm surprised that Tennessee wasn't one of the first to put the patch on the uniform, because Neyland Stadium was one of the first major venues to get a sponsorship. Neyland Stadium preserved by Pilot. I'd figure the jerseys would be a little bit of an easier transition than renaming Neyland Stadium, but who knows? Are they tearing down G10 today? Is that the start of it?
I think so. It was imminent the other day. The beginning of August is when it was. I haven't seen any pictures or anything.
I feel like I'm going to drive by on the way back from work today, because I did want to snap a picture of it one last time. I feel like it'd be a
go get some dirt,
sacred piece.
Go get some piece of concrete.
The only G10 remnants I really have personally are just from when I would park there when I was working at the Rock.
Yeah, I'm sure you never really tailgated there, did you? I'm sure you went through it at times, but you were always on fraternity stuff.
Yeah, I never tailgated there. I know a lot of people that did, though. But
yeah,
I just,
100%.
Game day does.
It's iconic.
Game day gets chaotic, though. It's tough to go either. I'm more of a Circle Park guy now. I go to Circle Park. I've got friends with tents there.
Right. Yeah.
So
that seems to be the new spot.
Fun spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into our first topic for hour 2, and that's coming back. Question mark at the end of that, because the news that some players who had exhausted their eligibility could have a path to return to college football following a Friday night U.S. District Court ruling has raised plenty of roster questions around the sport. And the answers are kind of time sensitive, because we're in August now, folks. College football is going to be played this month. Week 0 kicking off on the 29th. So we're not too far away from guys having to suit up and go play football games. But this new injunction ruling makes things very interesting for players that were a part of the 2022 high school class. They are now being told that they can return. Now, there are some things to keep in mind about that, though. First thing, if they sign an NFL contract, they're out of the mix. You can't get drafted and
go back.
Pick up and turn around and go back. Like Diego Pavia, I don't think he would be able to come back. He wasn't a member of the 2022 high school class either, but regardless, there are a couple of guys that were pretty quick to it, though. Tommy Castellanos, former Florida State quarterback that changed positions to wide receiver to try to get drafted, is undrafted. He could potentially come back. But the new wrinkle that was clarified on Sunday that's affected a lot of teams is that, well, if you were not already in the transfer portal and did not enter in before that portal closed, then you've got to go back to your old team. So a lot of guys were saying, okay, I'm entering the portal. I'm open for business. The judge said, whoa, no. You can return, but you got to go back to your old school. So that's kind of made things interesting, because Jaden Fielding, Ohio State's kicker, had told Pete Nakos that he wanted to return, and that news then goes out. It's almost more like he threatened to return, knowing how bad he was in a couple of big games. 2024, missed 2 kicks against Michigan. Last year in the Big Ten championship game, missed 1 against Indiana. That would have tied the game.
Doink.
Ohio State fans don't want him back. So, if Jaden Fielding wanted to return, he'd have to go back to Ohio State, and the Buckeyes already had their kicker this year, Connor Hawkins, who transferred from Baylor. So this makes it to where all of a sudden on Friday, holy crap, it's we're about to have free agency a month before the season. Now it's, if you want to come back, you got to play for your old school. Yeah. And if you've already signed an all that, as we learned last week with Arian Carter, you can't do that. So, you truly have to be a guy that did not get drafted and not signed a contract anywhere else. And if that's the case, probably not that good. Probably not worth cutting a kid on the roster to welcome him back. Now, Thomas Castellanos, I think, is a good enough athlete to, I think, it makes sense for Florida State to maybe think about it and bring him back at a wide receiver or something.
Daniels?
Well, I don't think there are great options there, period.
Yeah.
But Tommy's a good athlete. I don't think he's a quarterback. He's a good athlete.
He hadn't been the same since called up.
Hey, Florida State can win 6 games next year.
Well, he won the game against Bama.
He did, but then he sucked.
Well, it really wasn't him that sucked. He had a couple of really bad throws, and he's got a limited arm.
And he's small,
And he's small. But I'll give him credit. That kid's a warrior. He fights. He's like Diego Pavia if he wasn't like as loud or had a bunch of brothers that followed him.
Just not as athletic or tall or as good as a quarterback.
I mean, they're the same height though. I mean, they're the same.
Yeah,
I mean, Pavia's a better player. Pavia's a better quarterback,
Yeah.
sure. But going back to it, it went from we're about to have all out chaos to now
Pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes a little bit. So for Tennessee's case, and I checked this morning, it was deleted. But Jackson Moy had tweeted out on Saturday, like thinking, ... Now, he is signed with the Los Angeles Rams, undrafted contract. So I don't think he could return. Now, the tweet has been deleted. But I know there was a little bit of a rumbling that he started that he could possibly return. And that would be a position of need for Tennessee, filling up the defensive line. But I'm trying to think of anyone that graduated last year that could come back and play that would be of service. Because the other variable here is that you've got to cut someone. And how many schools want to cut a player a month before the season? So it's important to know that, yes, the 5x5 rule got an injunction, and we're going to see a lot more of it in college hoops. But the other variable to it, and there's so many, Ohio and Tennessee, there were rulings in Ohio and Tennessee that were separate that do grant you the opportunity to transfer. So there's a kid out of Vanderbilt basketball. He was a starter for them this past season, 9 or 10 games played. And this was kept under wraps for a little bit because of the impending decision. But there's a possibility if he decides to continue playing and is ruled eligible and allowed to transfer, that's a pickup for Tennessee in the basketball portal. He began his career at North Carolina, played a 36 player for the Commodores last season, started 9 games, averaged about 9.6, and shoots 76% from 2 feet around the cup. So unlike the last Vanderbilt transfer that Tennessee got in hoops, this guy can make a couple of layups and make the easy ones, right? So that would be a big addition, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think that's the only Tennessee tie-in to this ruling because I don't believe any former player former player football-wise is going to be able to return. And Amari Abram entered the portal before the portal window closed. And that was a very interesting move from him, but it was because of this. So I think he would be able to transfer wherever he'd like if he decides to keep on playing. I don't think he'd be a take for Tennessee anyways. But
although he was on campus hooping with the guys, I saw.
He was, yeah.
You know,
he wouldn't be
scrimmage.
He wouldn't be a take for this team, though. There's no
No.
need for it. You do need a big, though.
Definitely need a big.
And Washington, I believe is his last name.
Jalen Washington.
Jalen Washington. Yeah, Jalen
Jinx.
Washington would be a nice addition. I've watched him over the last 2 weeks and kind of the lead up to this, and he's not like an all-star. He's not going to be like Felix Okpara, but he can get up and down the court and is good around the rim in terms of his touch. Once again, shot 76%, 2 feet away from the cup, and had a couple of nice blocks last year as well. Just a serviceable big that has SEC and ACC experience. But outside of dynamic, nothing really else tying in Tennessee here. But overall, what do you guys make of this decision? I know we live in the injunction era of college athletics, but I think this one is. I mean,
Do you like it or?
I don't like it for the young guys on these teams that might get cut from it. But I don't think my thing is I don't know how many teams are actually going to utilize this. Because in college hoops, I think they're about
Depends on the player. And
college.
Most of the good players have been drafted.
College hoops, there's like 10 to 15 players.
Yeah, there's some good ones in basketball.
10 to 15 players I get around. Football, if they have not already signed an NFL contract, the more likely than not, they're not a good play. Like they're not great. Thomas Castellanos would probably be the best guy available that I can think of that could possibly go somewhere, but he'd have to go to Florida State. So what do you make of it, Connor?
I mean, it just doesn't really do all that much for Tennessee. But it was one of those things where once you saw that they passed the 5-5, someone at some point was going to ask the question, okay, well, what does that mean for the people who are about to graduate? Does that mean that, what if someone, goes to court and says, okay, well, when is this rule being enforced? And also, why does it not? You had a feeling that someone was going to ask the question. And so we've got an answer now. And, I just the NCAA, again, no teeth and doesn't have the ability to enforce or declare when this is supposed to be enforced or when this is what class is supposed to affect. I mean, they're better off grandfathering it in for the class of like 2030 or what have you. And okay, well, now it's class of 2031. It's just not good. It's just not good, and it doesn't really do anything for the authority of the NCAA, even though we've been railing about it, with the Arion Carter situation. But again, it just shows how basically far gone the NCAA is with their authority. So I don't know what to make of it. It's just a bizarre time.
I will say that if we can land Jalen Washington because of this rule, then we have a Final Four team. I will go as far as saying that. I think he's the big. I think he's big. We need both the Power Four experience, the conference experience. I think this is what I've been saying. This is the area we're weakest, and I think a guy experienced, long, athletic, Okpara-esque, I would say, just with his ability to guard out on the perimeter. I think this would be a home run for Tennessee and exactly what we're looking for. I think he would be as far as your starting center and things like that. I think that's how big of a move it is. And I think the college basketball one is intriguing because there are some high-quality names that could come back to college basketball, including, I think, a guy that hasn't signed that went to the Grizzlies, Richie Saunders. He remains unsigned with the Grizzlies. He can come back, and Kentucky is after him. And Keyshawn Hall. I'm just saying.
Kentucky, I don't
Richie Saunders goes to Kentucky. We got a problem. That kid's good.
I don't think there's any chance he leaves the NBA.
He's not even – why would you go to Kentucky and make what Monsilovich is having or go play in the G League? That's a no-brainer coming off an injury.
You're already in the league, though.
He's not. He's rehabbing.
He can get an
injunction. I know, but he's already
a second-round pick.
I know,
he's not going to play in the pros.
But what if he goes back to Kentucky and
he'd be a top 10 pick next year's draft?
Stop it.
Yeah, 100%.
Stop
Richie
it.
Saunders.
Richie Saunders, top 10 pick.
What happened to BYU when he got 100%?
Rich Saunders, top 10 pick.
100%.
Oh my God.
He's an borderline. He's an All-American.
Oh my God!
Do you not know who Richie Saunders?
I know who Richie Saunders is. BYU
went to crap when he left. All he had was DeBonte.
I agree. I think he's a great player, but top 10 pick, Richie Saunders.
I think he would be. If you're talking about that kid Braylon Mullins being a top 5 pick, Richie Saunders or Braylon Mullins.
Those are mocks for like right now. I don't.
Okay, but I'm just saying if he comes back to Kentucky and or whoever. Yes, he could play himself into a top 10 pick. This is a no-brainer for a guy like that.
Mullins is a former, 4 or 5
star?
One
shot, and he shot up draft board. He averaged 8 points a game.
Well, I think it's just, and he's a freshman last year.
But
he's young. Richie Saunders is going to be 24 coming off an ACL
I'm just saying
injury?
he has the potential to be a top 10 pick.
He'd
be a borderline All-American.
I don't know about that.
I'm just saying he'd be a really good player, and I'd be scared to death of Kentucky next year.
Well, I haven't seen a legitimate source from Kentucky come out and say that, though.
I mean, I'm reading one right now. One intriguing player from Pope's Past. It's the name of the article.
From who?
Kentucky Sports Radio.
KSR?
Yeah, Nick Roush. But he's also got, but he's getting his sources from Joe Tipton. So who's a college basketball guy on 3. And he's got a list of football players on here that might come back. I'm just saying. That's a potential guy.
It's August. Kentucky football doesn't really draw clicks. Let's throw Richie Saunders in a headline and say could possibly come to Kentucky.
I'd want him at Tennessee.
Well, I don't think Tennessee could.
Well, I know we're not, but I'm saying I think most college basketball teams would take that guy on their team.
There are a lot of good. I like AJ Storr at Ole Miss.
No, stop.
Well, just in turn. I'm not talking about coming here. I'm
just talking about that guy overall. How many teams has he been on?
I know, but he's still he's still a bucket.
No,
he's not a bucket. SEC tournament. He was a bucket. He is a bucket. He's not efficient, but he's a bucket. That's college basketball. I'm not talking NBA efficiency. He is a bucket, though. I don't have to agree with
Richie Saunders is 24.
Be 25 this year.
What's his LinkedIn profile? How about what's his? LinkedIn?
He's going to be he'd be in the league. If he didn't get hurt, he was a first round.
When was the last time a 25-year-old went first round or top 10?
I don't know. I probably could find it.
I don't think that's ever happened.
He should be applying for jobs.
25-year-old's going top 10? You know what? Brooklyn Nets, they get top 10. They're taking Richie Saunders.
I'm just saying he's better than Braylon Mullins. The guy's going to be mocked.
Mullins at least 19, though.
Oh, my goodness.
I got 6 years before I can get to.
That's the most ridiculous thing these teams do in the NBA. I don't want to get into this, but yeah, anyway.
If I'm Richie Saunders, why the hell would I go back? I've got a 4-year deal.
Richie Saunders. I was just looking at names. I was like, man, that guy's he averaged 21 a game last year. Kid can play.
I do like him, but I mean, he's in the league. Why would you give up the league?
He's not in the league though. He remains unsigned. Your guys aren't signing him.
Well,
now I don't think he signs. I think now this has come out and he has the potential to run back to school and make an easy $5-6 million, which would be more than he'd make as a second round pick.
He's not going to make $5 or $6 million.
Oh, he would be easily.
Well, you're out of your mind.
No,
Kentucky
people need 2 guards in the college basketball. They will pay that money.
If Kentucky forks over,
is making 7.
And if Kentucky forks over into 5 or 6, that'd be ridiculous.
He'd be worth 5 or 6.
Yes, 100%. In the portal, he's in the portal.
They're out of their mind.
There's a early second round pick.
They're out of their mind to do that. I don't
Kentucky
care.
wants to do that. I mean, all for them.
They want to bankrupt themselves. I mean,
I'm not in college basketball mindset though. I mean, I'm trying to think.
I mean, I can give you some of these names in football if these guys intrigue you.
Well, the football guys, I don't really think that they're worth anything though.
Well, this guy from Kentucky, Alex Afari, led the Cats in tackle for loss the last 2 seasons. I don't know, Kazim Moore, Clifton Thompson. I feel like I know the Stephen Daly name from Indiana. So he'd be an option as well, defensive lineman. Didn't he play he played big role for them, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Tyreek Tucker and Mo Kamara were their better guys. Again,
he was arguably their best defensive lineman, 19 tackles for loss when he suffered a freak injury following the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, because he was celebrating.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what it was. He was celebrating. Yeah. I mean, I think I think if you're unsigned from the NFL and you're still trying to go play college football, it's probably an indication you might be good just because you're older. I mean, I'd give Thomas Castellanos a chance if I were Florida State. They've got nothing to lose, and you could put him at wide receiver.
Does he have to go to Florida? So he's one of those that has to go back to Florida State.
Yeah, he would have to go back to Florida State.
Okay.
But if I'm him, I might as well do it. I mean, what am I collecting? I mean,
yeah.
UFL or Arena Football League or Florida State. He gets to choose.
Be beneficial towards like the football team or the basketball team, but someone made this observation, and it's kind of it's hard to envision it not being a possibility that the baseball team could certainly benefit, because there is one senior who was not drafted, still has not signed a deal, was a big part of the team last year, and is a national champion.
Reese Chapman.
He doesn't have a deal, and right now I can think of two outfielders on the team where I know for a fact that those guys are probably going to have spots, and that's Andrew Duncan and that's Blaine Brown, but there's really a third spot. And look, you have all these, you got to squeeze somebody to the outfield, but you could very easily just fix that problem if you just bring Reese Chapman back because of this ruling, and you stick him in the outfield. And there's your third outfield, and look at that. Now you have a ridiculously stacked baseball team. I don't know how it's going to necessarily work out or if it's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's very much possible. It might not work for basketball or football, but I think it could certainly benefit the baseball team.
Yeah, Reese Chapman, that was a name that was thrown to me on Friday. I mean, I'm not really in baseball
Shumpert
mode,
just posted that BJ Edwards plans to re-enter the transfer portal. So not that he'd be an option here, but just a guy we're all familiar with from being at SMU.
But how is he going to – I don't know how they're re-entering the portal unless he was yeah.
Well, he says he's re-entering. So was he in the portal? Like, I don't know either. I'd have to go and read his article, but I just saw he posted it from 8 minutes ago. So
got it.
Just another – again, college basketball's got some names that we've heard of, but
yeah.
I mean, if this Stephen Daly has potential to become back, I'm making a phone call. I'm at least making. I mean, that's immediate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a difference.
I mean, you got money.
That's a difference maker. I mean,
hope they haven't spent that Chaz Coleman money on something else.
No, I don't know.
We'll hit the phones real quick. We got Roberto on the line, waiting patiently.
Yes.
Roberto, appreciate you hanging on. What's up?
Yeah, the 2 worst secrets in the transfer portal are coming back at UT right now are Jalen Washington and Reese Chapman. If you can get Reese Chapman back, my gosh, like you just solidified probably the 3rd best outfield in the SEC, and you return arguably, I would argue he was our best player last year. And if he doesn't get plunked in the face going into the SEC tournament, maybe we play a little better there. We get a better seed. You know how it all goes.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Jackson Moy, and it's funny you say that. How many are we on the 105 scholarships now? Is that how that works, or do we still have walk-ons for one more year?
I believe from moving forward, the walk-ons are grandfathered in, but there are no more walk-ons. I don't believe.
Okay. So we would have to bop a scholarship kid, or hopefully have one scholarship if you wanted him back, if you could litigate that out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and Tennessee Tennessee specifically is different as well because of everything that went down in the Pruitt era. I don't know when some of those dynamics go away either.
I understand.
But, if you were to add someone, you'd have to cut someone. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. I don't know if Jackson's family would do that. I know them personally, but I do know that the last time I saw Mama Moy, they were pining for this 5th year of eligibility thing. I'm just going to leave it at that. And this was more than recently.
Well, he had posted this weekend because I mentioned it, Roberto. He had posted, but he deleted it.
Because he posted that, I don't feel bad saying what I'm saying right now. If not, I wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Like, they were desperate to get him a 5th year at the University of Tennessee. And my question to you is, if it could all litigate itself out in the next month, is he worth it? I think he is. He's a starting SEC defensive lineman, and right now we have, 2 legit D tackles on campus?
I mean, I think you most certainly would take him, as we were talking about an hour.
Who are you going to bop, though? Sorry, kid from mid-state who we brought on as just an add-on. You're going to have to be just a regular student.
Well, I think there are going to be
Could he come on as a regular? I guess technically it'd be a walk-on situation. If they had one where he could just pay his own way, they're not hurting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my question about the walk-on thing. I just don't know. But that was interesting. I'd not heard that until just now, that you had said, that would even be a possibility. So.
He had deleted, he had posted it Saturday. I saw it and I liked it just to kind of keep it in the back pocket.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. And then he deleted it. So I wonder, he was with the Rams last week. So I don't know how that would work. And also, how does Heupel handle that? Does Heupel really want to add a guy and then have to cut someone? And then that's a whole nother thing, because whoever gets cut is going to go straight to social media, and that's going to be a knockout, drag-out debacle.
But Moy you said signed, right? He's signed as undrafted.
He signed
Does he have to make the roster?
Undrafted free agent. Same thing with
signing a pro contract, right? So he couldn't return, right?
Yeah, I believe it's a UDFA.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it could work.
He signed as an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't even know if that could work out for him. But
I don't know. It was something that I was curious about. I saw that on, as you said, that was Saturday. And then I was like, okay, I guess it's gone. So that was just whatever. But it's something to talk about. And for me, if you get a quality SEC starter like that, who has, an obvious tie that his family wants to come back here. They love it here. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Why not take a risk on it and get a little litigious? I mean, the NCAA just handed arguably your best defensive football player a 3-game that got barked down to 2-game suspension. Screw them. Throw the middle finger at them and say, hey, we're suing you for this now. Just sue them for everything, because they're coming after Tennessee anyways. You wear Tennessee orange, they're coming after you. It's pretty obvious at this point. So just throw your middle finger in the air and say, we're suing you every time we get the opportunity. That's what I do. I swear to God I would. See ya.
See ya, Roberto. We appreciate that. That would be one way to approach it, but I don't know if that would be the best way to do it without pissing more people off. Matt in chat says, do we have to kick somebody off, or is Chaz Coleman already off? Now, the thing with Coleman, he's still on scholarship. He's not on the team, but he's still on scholarship. And they did that for his support, but also so he couldn't really get up and go anywhere. I don't know how that, again, these are all kind of one-off type of situations. I think Chaz Coleman's the only one in college football that was medically removed from the team this year that I can think of, but he's still on scholarship. And I think the scholarship is really what matters, but I don't think they're going to kick him off the scholarship. Again, that's another media uproar that you're waiting on by making a decision like that. Jackson Moy will be great. I think that would for especially that point in the
He's
defense.
Just another big body.
Exactly.
That you need desperately.
Most certainly. I'm not discrediting him. I'm just looking at the situation and saying, is that really worth it to go through all that trouble and possibly, get
I'd
into
be for any kind of big body like that's out there. Like I think you got to just
I know, but
they
need
possibly a defensive lineman that bad.
100%.
But possibly facing repercussions that could come of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, within the lines, I guess, but like
because he has. I mean, I don't know how he can sign. I mean, he's practicing with.
I think Jackson Moy. I mean, considering he signed the UDFA, I don't see how that's how he comes back to school. I just don't. I think we just got to go focus on see what other names are out there. Get somebody. I really do think we need. I mean, we have like. How many guys do you think we realistically have right now? Like 8, 9, maybe? I don't know. Like
on the D line?
Yeah. I mean, is there like just a guy that can come
Hobbs,
make
Dye, Utley, Campbell, Norman, like Christian Gass, Carter Gooden. I mean,
we're getting into names.
But you're getting into young guys.
Yeah. So I mean, I just see what's out there. I think if you have room on your roster to put some guys out there, because I think you're relatively deep everywhere else across the board and on your team. I really do. I think you're plenty deep enough. I think you've got to just throw bodies at it, let guys go play a few snaps, somewhere. If this is an option, I think you can find something out there.
All right, when we come back on the other side, we're going to talk jersey patches. Tennessee has yet to do anything additionally to its new Adidas threads, but around the country, teams like Notre Dame and Ohio State adding sponsorship patches to their jerseys. Will Tennessee follow suit? We'll break it down when we return right here on the Playbook.
Can't get enough Fan Run Radio? Download the free Fan Run app and take the best Tennessee sports conversations with you wherever you go.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco at Knoxville Smiles. Have you ever wanted to improve the look of your smile? We know firsthand what the power of a great smile means to a person's confidence and health. Our team of doctors can provide you with an array of options for helping you achieve your cosmetic goals. From simply moving teeth into a better position, to reversible cosmetic bonding, to full mouth implant-supported dentures. It is our goal to help patients feel good about their appearance while achieving optimal health. Want to learn more? Call us at 865-539-1776 to schedule an evaluation, or visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Are you ready for the start of a new season? Maybe looking for your team to go on a tournament run? Get game day ready with Crumble. Head on over to your nearest location and pick up 12 pre-selected cookies plus exclusive toppers. When you're looking for dessert options, there's no question about who you should call on. Our listeners already know. Last year, the Dubai chocolate was a home run, along with the brownie batter. Oreo crumb was another crowd favorite. What new flavor will set the standard this season? If you're in the Knoxville area, there are 3 locations ready to serve you: Clinton Highway, Parkside Drive, and Maryville. Download the Crumble app to build your best lineup and vote on the best combos. You can even put your bid in to request a new flavor. Order in the app and slide on over to your nearest location. Tell them Fan Run sent you, and as always, it's for the fans, by the fans. Don't miss the cookies.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
Fan Run Radio, the flagship station for Tennessee fans.
This ain't no wishy-washy, limp-wristed, kale-eating, half-ass sports radio station.
We're your in-your-face, truth-telling, say-it-loud, flag-waving, face-painting, hardcore, bring the noise, causing a ruckus, don't give a damn sports station.
Sports talk that doesn't just hang up and listen.
For the fans. This is Fan Run Radio. Get some.
All right, back here on the Playbook. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Monday from Knoxville, Tennessee. Coming up in 29 minutes, it's The Drive with Russell Smith, Bob Baskerville, The Bear, and Walker Smith. They'll take you the rest of the way on Fan Run Radio. But reminder, after they're done, we've got them returning to the waves from 6 to 8 right here on Fan Run Radio. Garrett Armbrist and Caleb DeBusk taking that full head of steam. They've graduated from the Playbook College of Radio.
Put them on night shift.
And we put them on the night shift. So good stuff. Real quick, taking a look at the YouTube chat, Music City Sam says Coleman is still on scholarship. I think technically that would be correct. He is. So I think that would then take out any opportunity for someone to use that spot in terms of adding a Jackson Moy, whoever. But again, I think really with the college football players, it's so close to the season, and unless you've got real familiarity with that scheme or system, or the team just really wants you back, I don't even know if we'll get one. I think Thomas Castellanos would be the most likely scenario and just go and be a wide receiver. But Florida State's got some good ones.
Yeah.
Robinson is a guy that returns. He's almost a tight end like wide receiver. And then they got a couple of young guys too. A Devin Carter, 4-star out of the state of Florida, who's really highly touted. A couple of good players, but Florida State's got a lot of work to do this year at least. So maybe Tommy Castellanos can hop on for that fun. We'll switch now to some bling. Obviously, Tennessee and Adidas linking back up has provided a lot of fun for Vols fans, especially fun for their wallets and their closets. Maybe some tax-free weekend incentives over the weekend to go get some new Adidas gear. But for Tennessee, Danny White's always been a trailblazer, whether it's been adding Pilot to the Neyland Stadium title, preserved by Pilot, whether it's the Danny District knocking down G10 and putting up a hotel and condominiums next to the stadium with a battery-type environment outside, whether it's renaming Thompson Bowling Arena to Food City Center. He's always been one to take the deals and be adaptive to where college athletics is moving. But one thing that he has not done is add a jersey sponsor. Now, we've seen a lot of schools do this over the last couple of weeks and really over the last couple of months in anticipation for the 2026 season. I think it's 24 Power 4 teams now have added a patch to its uniforms. Notre Dame and Ohio State becoming just the newest representatives to do so. Notre Dame inking a $17 to $18 million deal with SoFi. Ohio State locking in a 15 to 16 deal with Chase. And some of these deals are, over the course of 10 to 15 years, locking in for a while. So Tennessee, obviously a big brand, a program that is back in the right spot, back where they used to be in the national limelight. A lot of eyes, a lot of eyeballs on the Vols. And the Adidas deal is already proven to be a really big factor in high school recruiting. David Gabriel George, big reason why he committed to the Vols, the connection with Adidas. It's a $2 million deal, but Adidas is having a little bit of pull in that as well. So it does help. And I know it's not going to be a good look to add a jersey sponsor, but I think at the end of the day, Tennessee can wear red uniforms every weekend as long as they're winning and have good players. I don't think anyone will care, or they'll just have to get over it. Because at the end of the day, you want wins and you want results. How it looks doesn't always matter. So nothing has been done at this point in time. When Tennessee and Adidas had the rollout a couple of weeks ago, there were no jersey sponsors on those new uniforms. I think there is room, whether it be above the Adidas logo on the right or above the SEC logo to maybe do something. But in terms of there being a whole lot of room, we've seen some teams put the SEC logo in the middle. Tennessee did not decide to do that. So I wonder if we're going to get it this year. And we're up against the clock now, about a month away from the season. I feel like they would have already announced it. I feel like Tennessee's not going to go that route this year. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Probably not. If they haven't announced it yet, they're probably not going to do it. I don't know. I mean, again, we keep talking about, like Pilot would make sense for a partnership, and I think that'd be fine. They would have done it by now. They would have announced it by now. I think, they're just content to just kind of wait and see how the year kind of goes on, and eventually they will find a patch deal that makes sense. But right now at this point, they probably haven't found a patch deal that works. And with Danny White, he's not going to make an agreement just for the sake of making an agreement. He's going to make an agreement that makes a lot of sense and where the financials are beneficial to the program. And if he's not getting a deal right now that he wants, he's not going to say yes just for the sake of saying yes, just because he sees other teams that are jumping into the pile. He'll jump in at some point. It just won't be right now just for the sake of jumping in.
Well, doesn't it seem like it'd be an easy deal to get done? I feel like you think about local, state more so than nationwide, right? Like you get like your Pilot. I mean, not Pilot, but Pilot's just an example. Weigel's, or maybe you can go get Dollywood, which is recognizable, and Dolly Parton is basically worldwide. If you could go pull something like that,
but I mean, you look at how much money some of these companies are forking over. SoFi is forking over $17 million. Is that right?
Around a $17-18 million deal. Yeah,
over 6 years.
Over 6 years.
Over 6 years. So it's not like it's 1 year. Like it's over 6 years. So what's that? Like $4 million a year or so.
Yeah,
$3 million.
Yeah.
So
well, that's a lot,
and that's a lot, right?
Hold on. I think it's an annual deal.
I thought it signed. I thought
it was 17 annual.
I think it's 17 annual.
I thought it was 6 over a 6 year deal.
No, 7. It could be 17. It could be 17 million annual, 6 years in length. So it could be
because it was the Big Ten. They signed a deal with Monster Energy.
Big 12.
Yeah, Notre Dame is a 6 year deal for $18 million
annual.
It just says, where did it go?
Is it 18? It's 18 million per, or is it 3 million per?
The 6 year deal is worth about 18 to 20 million per year.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah. Look, Danny White looks at that number and he's like, I mean, look, is Pilot really gonna? I mean, Pilot's already got a good partnership.
I would think, considering you're doing this demolition, like you might lose some of the fans and the parking numbers and things like that as well. Like you can make up for it until this thing's built by signing a 5 or 6 year deal worth the 18 to 20. You can help put money in your pocket.
I mean,
that you're going to lose in that regard.
I just don't see Pilot being the team to do that.
It doesn't have to be Pilot. It could be who.
I also don't see.
But do you think it needs to be like a national brand, or do you think it needs to be a local brand?
It would. I think it would have to be like national.
Okay.
Because like SoFi, they have the patch deal with Notre Dame, but they also have the stadium deal with Los
Notre
Angeles.
Dame feels different than
Kroenke.
Tennessee, right? Like it feels like different. Like it feels like a different program than Tennessee.
My point just being, they need to find a national brand. I just don't see like a local company forking over that much money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think Tennessee is just a slight notch below Notre Dame and a slight notch below Ohio State.
Right.
So I think if I'm Tennessee, I'm looking to get around 15, 16 million a year.
Yeah.
And that would be right on line with what Notre Dame and Ohio State got. Now, the question is what company fits not only what you are trying to portray, but as well as, who they're trying to partner with. I think Pilot would make a lot of sense. I think Pilot would be the best looking because you could do the transparent background and have it orange and just use the white the white outlining, bad gaff there, white outlining to illustrate the logo, and I think it would be pretty seamless. Now, where you lose me on a couple of these jersey sponsorships is where the color is different than the team logo or something like that, or just pops out too much. That's where you lose me. The Chase Bank one's a little big in my eyes, a little bit for Ohio State. I thought the Notre Dame one kind of fit seamlessly, but anytime you add a logo period, it's going to stick out. I think Pilot would be the easiest one because it's just kind of that rectangle with the curved corners.
Just reading an old article, somebody mentioned Home Depot because the colors match our jerseys.
That'd be similar.
Yeah,
that's a boxy logo.
They're a southern company. They're out of Atlanta. But just somebody else threw that out there. Clayton Homes has a corporate office like up in Maryville. Like that's a huge brand. That they have plenty of money. Coming through that as well. But I think you got good options around here, and I'm just surprised he hasn't done it. I'm surprised, and he still might. I mean, it doesn't.
He should.
I mean, only for football, right?
Well, no, it would be across all sports.
Okay.
And if you're able to get, so let's say Tennessee's got 18, 20 varsity sports.
Yeah,
I think it goes per varsity sport actually. But I think the money would be a little bit different. But regardless, let's just say hypothetically Tennessee's got 20 varsity sports. Their logo would be placed on all of them. And then it would be a $15, $16 million deal annually to where those teams get a cut of that money every year. And if that's for football, I imagine they'll get a little bit more. I imagine football will get about 1.2 or 1.5 out of it. That's a defensive end right there.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, it might not look pretty, but if you can afford a really good defensive tackle or a good wide receiver, or hell, a good player for it, I think people could get around it.
Could be a big for basketball.
Yeah, I mean, for basketball, that's like half of Juke Harris.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the price of the player is going up, right? So you're gonna need any income you can get coming in. I mean, I think we'd grow to maybe like the Patch. I don't know. Like, it doesn't look great on some of these teams, and it probably takes some getting used to. But I think this team, as long as you're playing well and winning, competing for championships, it's going to pay for itself. So I don't know.
Maybe, it could be
worth the risk.
It could be a deal where maybe he just kind of waits because every single year, you see these teams and you see these players and they reset the market with this deal. They reset the market with this deal. It's like I want on par with this guy because he got this amount of money, right? Even though for a fact that guy's probably not as good as the guy who signed last year and reset them. So it could be a deal where what if a lesser program next year, let's say Indiana makes a playoff this year and then they willy-nilly get an $18 million patch deal. And then Tennessee looks at that and they're like, okay, well, we're blue blood. We've got all these national championships. We've got all these guys in the NFL. We have all these alumni. And Indiana's worth $18 million. I think we're at least worth $19 million. We could be worth 20. That's what that could be another reason why Danny White isn't signing this year. If he doesn't sign a patch deal this year, it could be a deal where someone else resets the market and we're worth more than them, so we're gonna get our fair share of the deal.
I mean, I guess it does work both ways. I think for Tennessee, I think you really can sign it whenever, so it doesn't really matter. But I imagine a lot of these schools want it for the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
And August would probably be a start date, but maybe September is a start date, and that's when you put it all on all the stuff. But I'm okay with it as long as Tennessee can get a couple of good players out of it. I don't want it to be obnoxious, though. And Michigan State's got a couple of obnoxious patches where they've got the bank on the right side of the collar, or it's going to be right side of the shoulder pad, and they've also got it on the helmet decal. I don't want to see it twice. I don't want to, I don't need to see University of Michigan State Financial Credit Union on 2 times in the same frame.
Yeah, that's a crazy patch deal there.
Yeah. When we come back on the other side, we'll wrap things up on a Monday edition of OT. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Stay right here. It's Fan Run Radio.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all with their wide selection of teas and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
September 10th isn't just a sale, it's an experience. Join us as Liquor Vault celebrates its first anniversary with the biggest savings event of the year. Experience rare bourbon drops, surprising barrel releases, and complimentary tastings all day. For the wine enthusiasts, you can check out Jason Drotar's Wine Passport Experience. Cigars, they've got them too. Enjoy hourly giveaways, exclusive one-day only anniversary pricing, and surprises throughout the day. Find a Vault Golden ticket and receive exclusive access to Liquor Vault's highly anticipated end-of-year rare bourbon allocation. People will be talking about this event for months. The only question is, will you be there? The Vault Experience, September 10th, only at Liquor Vault's anniversary party. Located at 2901 Tazewell Pike. Check out their specials and sign up to get discounts at liquorvault.com.
Join us for the third annual Fan Run Night at the Smokies, Thursday, August 13th at Covenant Health Park. Come hang out with the Fan Run crew and arrive early to pick up some swag as we watch the Smokies take on the Rocket City Trash Pandas on a Thirsty Thursday, featuring half-price draft beers all night long. It's the third annual Fan Run Night with the Smokies, Thursday, August 13th. Listen to Fan Run Radio for details on how to score free tickets.
Citizens National Bank.
Life is more fun with a Good Life account, offering extra benefits, including bank travel. Experience the trip of a lifetime to Ireland. Explore rolling green hills, historic castles, and charming villages across the Emerald Isle. Get in on the fun. Call 865-429-7935 today.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
All right, back here on the playbook, wrapping things up on a Monday. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Coming up in 12 minutes, it's The Drive with Russell Smith, Bob Baskerville, the Bear, and Walker Smith. They'll take you the rest of the way on this fine Monday. And then after that, it's overtime. OT is back, baby. Garrett Armbrust and Kayla DeBusk will have you from 6 to 8. And once again, that's Mondays to Thursdays here on Fan Run Radio the rest of the way. We'll wrap it up with our final thoughts. And, I've always been a big Marvel guy, and I'm upset I've not been able to get to the new Spider-Man movie. I usually go opening night, and I've now fallen subjective to potential spoilers. Talk Sports was talking about it earlier today.
Oh no!
And John was talking about it, and I about came in there. I was about to say, like, guys, well, hold on now.
You got to give it some time.
Yeah, hold on now.
Go get the earplugs out.
But I'm upset because I usually go opening night. I
haven't got to see it either.
Been too crammed. They should have dropped this in June when nothing was going on. In June we're doing our top 10 Tennessee games of all time. And now it's August. We got the season rolling.
I know.
Media day is tomorrow for the team. And then Wednesday they're out in pads and we're getting this thing going.
Yeah.
And on campus too, we were talking about it at the end of last week. Campus is starting to get back.
Buzzing.
Yeah, it's starting to fill back up.
It's nice. It's about to be that time.
Oh, it's nice for and look, when I was in college, I loved it when everyone came back. But there's just something about Knoxville in the summer when you were able to go through campus and it's just no one there. It's kind of nice.
You don't have to worry about running anybody over, well, except for the 1 or 2 people that are taking their visits and whatnot. And the occasional athlete, Well,
the ones I worry about hidden are the ones that live on the road too. They're all over the place.
I keep having to worry about these construction guys that are trying to build the new dorm next to CCI. Because I go on
another dorm.
What's up?
They're building.
They built another one.
Yeah.
Oh wow, gosh.
Right next to Circle Park.
Yeah.
There's just more kids coming. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Like more.
They need more housing and they need more parking.
Gosh,
well, the Strip now. I was telling I obviously live here, and a lot of my college friends don't. So every now and then they'll ask what's going on, and all the apartments that were torn, or all the spots that were torn down to allow for apartments, all those apartments are now up.
Wow.
And outside of one of them, the one that Copper Cellar was located at. That's not done yet.
Uh-huh.
But it's just crazy, man. I've got pictures at Copper Cellar on my 21st birthday or 20th birthday back when I was in college at Copper Cellar, and now that's gone.
That's crazy.
Copper Cellar is a good spot too.
That's
only my thing with this. The other thing with the Strip, and really Knoxville, period. There's not a whole lot of local food. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, not at all.
You see,
I don't think so.
at least on the Strip, a lot of it is really just now been corporatized.
And
you have your Cane's, your Chipotle, your Chick-fil-A, your Taco Bell. Why? Who cares?
The Strip is just Good Times Deli.
Yeah.
That's the only original spot I can think of. I mean, Victor's Tacos, is that regional? I've never seen another Victor's. And I know there's that little Mexican joint. Cool Beans is a good spot. Cool Beans is original.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm obviously not going there for food. Yeah. I don't think anyone should either. But that was the one, in Memphis, there's so many local spots, local burger places, local barbecue places. When I got to Knoxville, I've always been upset. There's not that many local spots here.
You have to head more towards like Town Square at this point.
Market
Square, yeah. You have to head towards
I guess
there
are options there. I do love Chivo.
Yeah.
Chivo's a great taco spot.
Towards Main Street, yeah.
Yeah. But on campus, though, I'd love.
No.
If I were a developer, I would buy a plot of land and open up the biggest burger bar in town on the Strip. It'd sell out every day. Because when I go tour and visit these other college towns to go watch a game, I like to experience what they've got to offer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like Oklahoma is in the middle of nowhere. And it's just one big plot of land, but they've got a strip with a bunch of local places.
Okay, do you remember growing up watching, the ESPN, the other primetime game? It would be Brad Nessler and Todd Blackledge. And Blackledge always had his Todd's Taste of the Town, and where he would go out and find this spot with this crazy burger that was inside another burger, or this like the burrito or something ridiculous. But
it's your leg off.
It looked like I had a heart attack just looking at it, but I wanted to go to these places, So I understand what you mean by that, because there's not really, not close to like Neyland Stadium at least. Not until you get the entertainment district,
like
but even
the Calhouns of the world still, holding it down.
I guess Calhouns, but it's still a little bit off campus.
Calhouns on the river, and
elite spot.
My Memphis people watching or listening. Huey's would be the spot I would adapt.
That's what you told me when I went there.
Yeah,
you told me to go there.
I'd tell everyone. That is my spot. I love Huey, and everyone knows it too. When I'm in town, we're going to Huey's.
Yeah,
and I would love to have one of those spots here. I'll call it Pat's. We're going to Pat's. We got big TVs.
That sounds like an elite place.
Big TVs, burgers, barbecue, burgers, and beer. That's all you need.
100%. Yeah.
That's all you need.
They will come.
And I don't know why none of these places do it. Like they build these giant high-rise apartments
out,
with all these spots down low. Like there's a Hattie B's moving in. I'm not a hot chicken guy, but a Hattie B's I'm sure will be very popular. But like Little Caesars, all that crap, get that junk out of town. No. I don't want to eat cardboard pizza.
No.
I want to be able to walk into like this crappy little diner, and then I can get like breakfast food whenever I want. That's also not like a Waffle House,
Yeah, put a Waffle House on campus.
That's at least like semi-original if you're on there. Yeah,
Waffle House on campus, that would be a disaster. I'd never work there.
Imagine if they stuck
some business.
Good Lord, have mercy.
Some fights in there though. Yeah. Gosh.
All right, that wraps it up for a Friday edition. Oh my gosh, a Monday edition of the Playbook. I'm sorry.
You can go to bed.
A Monday edition of the Playbook. Great stuff as always. Coming up next, it's The Drive, followed up by Overtime, making their debut on Fan Run Radio. We appreciate you hanging out with us.
Can't get enough Fan Run Radio? Free Fan Run app and take the best Tennessee sports conversations with you wherever you go. Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day, right here on the flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Your phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait. Attention on the road, that's the only way. Phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Join us for the third annual Fan Run Night at the Smokies, Thursday, August 13th at Covenant